Welcome to another Lakeland adventure. Slightly different than usual in that I don't have a set objective other than walking up this mountain. Just to explain where I am. My objective is a mountain called Pike of Blisco, or Pike of Blisco, depending whether you drop the F from the F or not. And I'm going to wander up, I'm going to saunter up. And the reason I'm going to saunter up is I've been having some trouble with my my knee, so I'm going to take it nice and steady, get to the top and see what I can see. But I started in the Rhinos Pass. So Rhinos Pass, quite a famous road in Lake District. I'm parked down there, going to head up to the top. Don't really know what to expect. The views are meant to be good, but it's a glorious summer's day, which is not great for photography. Because it's just clear blue sky, quite harsh conditions. It's only about 8 o'clock in the morning. So I filmed another video earlier this morning at Tarn House. And I thought I'll come, because I've got stuff in the bag, as it were, I'll come and try this out. So I'm just going to do a bit of exploring, to be honest. It might just be a kind of reconnaissance trip. There's a small tarn up there, I think called Red Tarn, so I might have a look at that. There's a couple of interesting features, have a look at that. And then when I'm on the summit, see what the views are like. So stick with me. I've got my sun cream on. Might have to take this jumper off in a minute. Although there's quite a nice breeze keeping the temperature down, but I think it's probably in the low 20s already. Got plenty of water in my bag. So onwards and upwards quite slowly. Well, my knee held out and made it to the summit. Actually, knee was all right, just a couple of twinges, but tends to be worse on the way down, so we'll see. But what a summit, look at this. So sun is quite harsh, so it's a little bit hazy, but I'll try and do you a kind of 360 and I'll take it slowly. So here we go. Well, looking Crinkle Crags and Bow Fell, kind of round up, that's north towards Skiddaw. Stiker Pickle there, that's that interesting one there. The Langdale Valley, round towards Helvellyn, kind of Windermere, and then we come right back round. The Rhinos Pass is just down there. I think that's Dow Crag over in the distance, and the Hard Knot Pass is over that way. So what an absolute glorious summit. And one thing I would say, if you're coming to the Lake District, no matter where you're from, if you're coming to the Lake District and you're going to come into the hills, you need hang on, I need two hands for this. You obviously need your map. Sorry, just put that away so it don't blow off over the side. But I can't recommend highly enough getting hold of Wainwright's pictorial guides. You know, when was this one written? Let me check. So they were written quite a long time ago. So 1955. So, you know, 62 years ago. Is that my maths right yet? So quite a long time ago. The maps and everything are all hand drawn. So if you've never seen them, it's all hand drawn. But they are the Bible, and some of the maps are a little bit inaccurate now, because obviously things change over a 50-year period. But the kind of the little asides that he writes, and kind of the guide to the other hills and the other routes and whatever, perfect. So, rant coming up. Who leaves that on the summit? So I'm going to have to carry that down. Give them the benefit of the doubt and say maybe they just forgot it. But, so I'll empty that out and carry it down. But so I've been here for a while, so I've just been chilling out really, because just enjoying the scene, enjoying the sun. It's quite windy, but it's warm. It's not cold wind. But I'm looking for inspiration now. It's going to be a challenge to take photographs because the sun's quite high in the sky. Blue sky, quite hazy, harsh light, potential down in the valley, kind of maybe looking down in the valley that way, or because there's kind of a dip and then another kind of peak over there. What I might do is go over that way and then photograph back this way, so I get this cairn with the mountains in the background. All my sunglasses are almost blowing away, so I hope the wind isn't too bad for the microphone. So I might go over there and then get a photograph of the peak with the cairn and the background in. But I'm just enjoying the view. So I'm going to have more snack and another drink, and then have a bit of a pace round and see where I can get a composition. If my hat, my hat blows off, I'm going to be sick because it's got sentimental value. Oh, clouds! Just said, probably can see that there's a shadow of a cloud racing up. So God, the wind has really picked up. But yeah, I haven't seen a cloud. Oh, must be those up there. So anyway, gonna have a bit of an explore and see what I can come up with. Changed my mind. Actually, I did go over to the other kind of sub peak and look back, but the angles are all wrong because it's slightly lower than the actual summit. You were kind of looking up towards the summit, so without having a step ladder or something to look down, the angles wouldn't work. So I came back to the summit is just up here, so it's literally kind of 20 feet away, but just came off the peak a little bit. And what I've decided to do, there's a little bit of cloud starting to appear in the sky, adds a little bit of interest into the sky. But what I've decided to do is try and create a panorama just of Crinkle Crags and Bow Fell. So Crinkle Crags, as the name suggests, is that kind of series of humps, and then Bow Fell is the kind of larger peak in the distance. So I'm just creating a panorama, but to include these rocks in the foreground. So we're getting kind of a nice balance of foreground, midground, and then distance. So I'll talk you through what I'm doing on the camera. Just turn the, so I've overexposed, but so you can see, but hopefully you get the idea. There's a bit of foreground interest, bit of mid, and then something in the distance. It's not perfect, but I'll work on a kind of panorama like that. But I'm going to leave it until there's a bit more cloud in the sky. Hopefully a bit more cloud in the sky. So I'm going to sit down and wait to see what happens. Can you spot the difference? Yeah, so last thing I said was I was going to wait for some clouds and to build over Crinkle Crags and Bow Fell. Well, they didn't. So I've come to Crinkle Crags. So previously, when I was talking to you, I was over on Pike or Blisco, which is over there. So not maybe a mile. Quite a nice walk actually. But I'm on Crinkle Crags, and now I am waiting for some clouds to build. So there's a real challenge because of the brightness of the sun. You know, I think it's about midday. Yeah, actually it's 10 to 1. So the sun is kind of at its highest. It's quite harsh light. Sky is still relatively blue. So I'm going for an image that's trying to cut out those issues. So just spin you around. Sorry about the wind, but I can't do anything about it. So this is part of the Crinkle Crags range, and I'm actually working on a composition that includes these rocks in the foreground, and then kind of that swoop of mountain. Relatively tight. I'd try and show you on the back of the camera. Not sure I can because the reflection is too bad. Yeah, I think the reflection's too bad. But you'll get the idea when I post. I'm on f11, and I'm using my polarizer just so I'm not intending to have much of the sky in the image, but I'm using the polarizer just to add a bit of blueness. Now a couple of weeks ago, actually it was a couple of days ago, but by the time I post this it'll be a couple of weeks ago, Kim asked a question about kind of the effect of the polarizer, and I think I mentioned it. Oh, there's a RAF are just flying down the valley. Gosh, that's low and fast. So Kim asked a question about the effect of polarizers, and I've mentioned it before. What I'll do is take this image twice, one with and one without the polarizer. But the quickest way of understanding what a polarizer does is to get your sunglasses out, because quite often sunglasses have polarizing capabilities, and stick them on. And you see, I'm sure you've done it, every time you put sunglasses on you think, gosh, the sky looks a bit bluer. That's essentially what the polarizer does. So kind of washed out blue, dark blue. So that's the kind of quickest way to understand that. But I'll take 2 images, one with, one without. I won't say which is which, and you can make your own mind up. But I'm going to take a couple of images here. It'd be nice if a couple of clouds appeared in the sky, but can't have everything. And then kind of wander just up to the summit. So the summit of Crinkle Crags is just on the second there. So as I'm here, I may as well. And then see what happens. I made it to the top of Crinkle Crags, which is actually kind of that peak there. I don't know if you can make out the summit cairn, but I've been up there, had a bit of lunch, and now I've come down to one of the lowest. So I think there's 5 crags, Crinkle Crags. I've come down to one of the lower ones, and I'll show you why in a second, but I'm trying to keep my back to the wind because the wind has really picked up. Almost took my hat off a couple of times. But I think it's about 20 years, maybe 25 years since I was last on top of Crinkle Crags, so it's nice to be back. Hopefully not 25 years before I come back. So why have I come here and what am I trying to do? So, turn you around, show you the view. So there's this cairn here for a start, these nice rocks for a second, but then we're looking over at one of the other crags, and then Bowfell, but then Scafell and Scafell Pike, and Scafell Pike is the tallest mountain in England. So I'm working on a panorama. Sorry, I keep putting my hand in front of the camera, but I'm trying to working on a panorama that includes this cairn. So I'm on a vertical or portrait orientation, and I'm just panning the camera through kind of that. So what I hope to end up with is the cairn on the left hand side of my image, and then Bowfell on the right hand side, but obviously with Scafell and Scafell Pike featuring as well. And it's still challenging, I've said that a few times now, so ooh. God blimey, I think I need to put some rocks in my pocket to stop me taking off. It is hellishly windy, but it's still quite warm. Hope you can hear me. I don't want to lose my hat, but I'm working on that panorama because partly I think it'll be a nice image, but secondly I think I don't have any images of Scafell and Scafell Pike in my catalogue, so I thought while I'm here I'll come and do that, using my polarizer again just to take some of the just to deepen the blue, but no filters because the rocks are quite bright because the sun's almost directly behind me, so it's a nice contrast, and there's some really nice lichen on these rocks here, so they're the green, so I hope that is picked up in the image. I might kind of just enhance that a little bit in Lightroom if it doesn't pick up. But once I've taken this, I'm going to head back down. What time is it now? Let's see. 2:25. My alarm went off at 4 this morning, so probably 2 hours to walk down. So I'm going to take these, pack up and head down. If I see something on the way down, I might stop and take an image. But hopefully I kind of explained what I'm doing here, and I'll put the images in. And there we have it. Come down from Crinkle Crags. So I'm on the crossroads. So that way is up to Pike or Blisco. That way is up to Crinkle Crags, and that one way is down into the Langdale Valley. I'm going that way because cars down in Rhinos Pass. So, but what a great day. Started at 4 AM. What time is it now? So it's almost 4 PM. So 12 hours so far. Really enjoyed the walk up Pike or Blisco, and hopefully got a couple of images. But then the decision to go up Crinkle Crags I think was a good one. I enjoyed the walk, enjoyed being on the top, and I think I got some decent images. But as I always say, proof is when I get them on the screen. So I hope you've enjoyed the trip. Hope you've seen part of the lakes that you've never seen before. Hope you've enjoyed the tips and the advice. Thanks for watching. Comments, likes and subscriptions really welcome. Thanks for all the new subscribers, it's great, and thanks for all the comments, I really do enjoy it. So hope you've enjoyed the day. I'm roasting hot, so I'm looking forward to a good drink of water when I go back to the car, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.